And we need to check the market, your needs, and after we can consider and check the financial side, of course, we can agree what kind of strategy we will take in our future years. Thank you.
Okay, so I just wanted to add one thing to all the things you said, looking retrospectively at the market in general. So one thing is collaboration, of course. So now we can see big banks coming into collaborations with fintechs, like Blik is being integrated everywhere. It's very nice. But we also need to consider the aspect where we were, for example, 5 years ago. So when fintechs started coming to Poland, like Revolut, but not only, all this, for example, companies offering exchanges. So I don't know if you remember, but 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, it was really hard to pay with your card in euro, for example. And then when fintech started coming, offering really good euro rates, instant payments, no multi-currency like extra cards, then banks adjusted. And for example, now in my personal bank, I will not name it because I'm not advertising, but in general, they have almost the same rate as good fintechs because they needed to adjust. So I think this is an additional point that fintechs coming to the markets, now they changed the Polish market, not only Polish market, but let's talk about Poland. It changed a lot, and we can offer a lot of better solutions for the clients, even from big banks, because fintechs came in.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I'm just looking at our glass here, and I'm just wondering. Sometimes banks are seen as the dinosaurs of finance, so very hard institutions working since almost forever, yeah. And fintechs as the disruptors in finance. And Susanna, what you told right now, that their solutions that they are, let's say, developing and introducing into markets are sometimes like world-changing, yeah. Example with the euro, great example. My question to you colleagues is maybe the shift into the generations, as we see that the younger generations are more, let's say, digital, and they would like to have the newest solutions, the fastest solutions, better UX, better UI, and so on and so on. Do you see some kind of risks maybe that are connected for banks when it comes to fintechs that are, let's say, entering the market? So, as you told Susanna, yeah, Revolut came with a great idea, or let's say great concept of having good exchange rates, and the banks had to follow, yeah? Do you see also any other risks that are coming in the, let's say, next years?
Maybe I can start from a fintech perspective. So now we are a regulated company, so you can trust us with the money. But if there are new companies entering the market, you need to be sure that they are actually regulated. And that, for example, if something happens, you have a scheme guaranteeing that you can recover the funds. And I think this is one point that I've seen changing, even like in my personal life, because I have a younger brother that couldn't care less about security of his money, and he just puts it in any site that comes in. So I think this is a big threat because it's very convenient to use a new company. They always offer you a great starting point of some money or like free bets or something like this. But just be sure who you trust with your data with and your money especially. Thank you.
Just to quickly add to excellent point of Zuzana. So one of the things that I've been asked a lot is like, how would the changing payments landscape with peer-to-peer payments, with like crypto, with all these kinds of like past few years revolution around blockchain, around instant payments, how is this going to impact like the incumbents as MasterCard and our competitors? So I would say, if this is how you think, you might want to look closer at what it really means to operate a payment scheme. And one of the things is that you actually need to take care of security and you need to have trust. So the real value, I would say, of the payment scheme, besides the technology that you use when everything goes well, is what happens when something goes wrong, right? Can you recover your money? Can you trace back your money? Is your money safe? One of the things, just before I let my colleagues to add to this, is the tokenization, right? So I'm not sure like what's your experience. Can you still remember when you had to type in your entire card number on websites and like, you know, approve the payment and so forth? So in Europe, we committed to get rid of this until 2030 entirely through the process called tokenization. So effectively, that means that like you get a virtual card, a single-use virtual card for every transaction. That means which is safe because you cannot get scammed out of it, right? And this is just one of those things that we invest a lot of effort in that we hope you will never notice because you will never have to, because someone thinks about your security and safety of your payments and your data.
I made that just one point maybe to the security part, because today with the speed of the payments, they are very instant. But one thing is a bit risky is the dispute management. Means that if you make a wrong payment to a wrong sender, let's say, or the lender, then it's hard to, in some applications there is no chargeback, or you cannot trace it back, or you cannot, reverse it. So, but there are some also FinTech applications coming with the dispute management, means that even you make an instant payment, which is passed in a couple of seconds, you can still check it or reverse it if something went wrong during this process. So, whatever the payment system is using or for your purpose, what kind of aim that you are having when you are making your payments, it's important to consider this kind of, let's say, back-end solutions, which if in case of something, went wrong, then you can check it back. Of course, I'm not talking about a 10 zlotys transaction from Żabka, but, in more, let's say, important or, let's say, more regulated perspective, then you need to make sure also if this kind of fintech has a dispute management behind it, that you can always reverse back if something goes wrong.
Martin, if I could remember, you mentioned risk or challenge, or perhaps chance. Chance, for example, for our bank, because I believe that we are one of the first company that develop own platform payments factory. So you hear about us. And also I believe that we build some kind of best backstage for new products that we implement in our future. So please check our solutions, and you will see who will be the best. Thank you.
Piotr, don't get me wrong, of course, coming, let's say, from the risk, from the general perspective, and talking about dinosaurs, I didn't mean that they are, let's say, some kind of a boring. I mean, I like dinosaurs a lot, and I think banks are quite cool as well, so no worries about risks. Yeah, challenges. Challenges a very good point for that discussion and problematics. Yeah.
And maybe one more comment from my side, especially when we are talking about the challenges banks are currently facing in the competition with fintechs. I think we should also here look at cost side, and it's quite challenging because when you compare fintechs and banks has definitely less competitive cost structure, mainly due to large network of branches and IT legacy systems. And when you take into consideration the fact that younger generations are less and less willing to visit branch. Actually, they don't do it at all, or they do it only if it's needed and required by a bank. Actually, you might end up with much worse cost structure at the end, and eventually fintechs may offer more competitive pricing, better services for less, and this is something that might be challenging for the banks in the future.
Yep, very good topic. So when we're talking about younger generations, let us maybe now jump to the third topic as we're now speaking about it. So what strategies are market players adopting in the face of growing popularity of instant payments and digital wallets? So what I found out, did some kind of a research. So customers of all ages, yeah, it's not only the youngest generation that want to have fast and efficient payments, but actually also persons over 40. So 43% of users of banks, fintechs, however, just let's say services, are expecting that payouts, transfers will be handled in seconds. Yeah. Second point is that if there is some challenge, if there is a lagging behind, so some kind of a longer transaction, this causes some kind of problems, frictions, and is a main reason why somebody would not like to use this service. So discussion point for now, and my question to you would be, as now we are seeing the revolution in let's just transaction speed, yeah? When we compare it to doing a wire transfer, I don't know, 20 years ago, I remember when my father once tried to send euros from Poland to another country. It lasted, I don't know, 3 days. Today we can do it in 3 seconds probably, even if I'm super fast and using good solutions. My question to you is, how do you see this evolution? How do you see the next, let's say, steps for this financial advancement and technology? Of course, we do want to see the efficientness. However, are there any other challenges connected with it? That was first, yeah.
Thank you. I think from our perspective and also from the things that we learned was that at the beginning we didn't offer, for example, Polish local IBANs. Now we do through a corporation. And for example, if you send money from your bank to another bank, it usually arrives after a few hours or even the next day. There is an option to send the express elixir, but it's usually paid additionally. So for example, what we did, we always route through elixir, like express elixir by default. You don't have to pay for it. So I think it's a good thing, for example. So if I send money from my Revolut account to my personal account, it arrives within seconds. And with my personal bank to another bank, it's not really that instant. Then we moved to, for example, BLIK, which is, for us, it's very obvious for Polish market because we use BLIK every day. But if you compare to other markets, they don't really have instant payments. They are used to waiting for the transfer for a day or two. So when we, for example, started collaborating with BLIK, we've seen a lot of people starting using this service because they, for example, couldn't use it in a Polish bank because they don't have a nationality. So all of these integrations that we're seeing on the market, especially coming from Poland because we are really advanced as a country, I think this will be developing through different markets. I'm not sure how freely can we talk about BLIK expanding, but I think it's pretty obvious that BLIK is going to expand through different markets. So these are the main points. So using the fintechs, first of all, and second of all, making all the transfers instant, which will happen at some point, but this needs to be a huge pressure from the market on the banks, on big institutions, because now they charge for it and it could be free.
Yeah, this is, of course, one additional point that the European regulations are now reinforcing, let's say, not only the requirements, but also the guidelines for financial institutions so that those payments, mentioned SEPA payments, yeah, are now being done instantly and with very low costs for the customers. Do you think this is a good way that the, let's say, pan-European institution is, let's say, giving some kind of directions for financial institutions?
Maybe I can say a few words. So, as we've already discussed, when it comes to instant payments in Poland, actually we are there. It's possible. When you are going to do peer-to-peer payments, you can use BLIK. Also, you can use BLIK while paying on payment gateways doing e-commerce shopping. However, the challenge right now is what to do with international payments, because right now they are definitely not frictionless. It's much easier to do it within EU. However, still it's not as convenient as with BLIK. So many players are thinking of different ways to scale this business. As it was mentioned, BLIK is planning expansion. It's already available in Romania. They are planning expanding also in Slovakia. There are other national players quite successful to mention, but a few ideal in Netherlands or Bizun in Spain. However, what might be very interesting is an initiative of European Payment Initiative called Vero, and they are planning to launch pan-European instant payment scheme. We'll see how it works. There are many questions still not answered. However, they are planning to go live soon in several Western European markets. And what's also important, they are planning cooperation with successful local players such as Bizun, maybe also BLIK. So it's a very interesting adventure, interesting path. Let's see how it develops. But maybe in the future we'll get a frictionless payment system across whole EU.
Probably yes. Thank you, Adam, because I think ultimately this is what everybody like wants or needs. I just wanted to kind of steer us away from like the mechanics of it and just think about the experience that you have when you're paying, right? Less than 2 weeks ago, we've been hosting like a 30th anniversary gala of 30th anniversary of MasterCard in Poland, and it kind of made us look back at what it was, what it meant to pay. So initially when the cards show up, which wasn't like obvious at all that they're going to be accepted, right? There were some limits, like you couldn't go under a certain like amount. Some outlets were not like so eager to accept them, right? So there was this whole acceptance struggle for many years. You have to take out your card, you have to put it in the machine, like you had to like wait until it settles. It was a process. Oftentimes it was considered like the longer kind of way of paying it, and looked down upon by other people in the line that were waiting with you. Then the contactless happened, right? This is also technology that we're operating here as MasterCard in Poland. And again, not sure if you remember, but it was considered to be the cool way because it was easier, it was faster, it was very new. A lot of people didn't know what's going on. They were, expecting you to type in your PIN. That was a whole new thing, right? Then you suddenly have phones, you have wearables, you have rings, right? We are partnering with more and more banks in Poland to issue the rings that you can, it's like a low energy Bluetooth chip that you can just carry on. You don't have to charge it. You can just pay with it wherever you go. You can pay with your eyes in Poland. At least we partner with PayEye, a Polish company that offers this kind of service. They've been running a pilot in Kraków too, at Empik at Galeria Kazimierz. You might want to check it out if it's still on. But we have like all kinds of methods. And this is how frictionless it became, right? In the physical world. So in the digital world, again, you were going from typing in this long number and waiting for the settlement and so on and so forth, right? Now there's methods like click to pay where you just have to type it in once and then this merchant or vendor stores it securely. You can use it. You don't have to trust like any third party because we at MasterCard provide this technology. But ultimately, you want to get rid of this at all, right? So I would say the biggest theme right now in the payment is agentic pay. So this is the way to interact with your vendor, with your merchant, with your shop through your agent, like large language model, and just type in what you want to have and have something pay for it in the background. So this is like the seamless, the seamlessness that we see like in the next like 1 or 2 years developing. But ultimately, who know what future holds, I think ultimately we want to get rid of typing at all, right? We want to talk to the machines like we talk to other humans. And further on, I don't know, but there's probably something more as well.
Yeah, I mean, they are all the great example, of course, for the banks and the fintech collaboration, but also it's beyond the companies like the payment companies or the banks. It can extend it. For example, of course, ABB is not a bank or a fintech company. It's a manufacturing company, but we have also leverage from this kind of fintech. How, as you might know, ABB is also manufacturing the electronic vehicle charge stations. Probably you see in many places. But one thing is about that, how when you charge your car, how you can pay it. So this is a payment problem again. Normally, a user should have, download different application every time, come across a different provider of those electric vehicle chargers. But what ABB did a couple of years ago, they acquired a startup fintech called Vority from Sweden. So this is a fintech application which manages this kind of payments without having a registration in a single app. They are using this RFIDs or MasterCard Visa pay network or Bleak, like whatever payment method integrated that they are using. So it's not just the fintechs or the banks that can leverage from this kind of technological advances, but also the other companies manufacturing can. And for the initial question, for example, what the drives also the countries or the companies have their own payment system. Because I mean, no offense to MasterCard or Visa, but countries also want to be independent from any company globally to have manage their own payment system. So Blik is like a very good example in Poland that to rely on their rails, and also very like mentioned in Europe. So many countries have their own also local payment system using their account-to-account rails, moving from the intermediate. So also this is becoming a political deviation, not to use transaction like traditional transactions, but create their own payment system just to be politically independent from any other company run by, different countries. So also this is another political aspects, let's say, to have your own system which is pushing the current trends.
Martin, I come back again to your question about outside regulation. So I see two points, two phases, how we see from the bank perspective. First about the payments, that our business can't earn as much as they would like to. So for our perspective, it is a small issue. Official, no, because we are happy, but non-official, I can agree that we would like to earn something. On the other hand, we are in the progress about the change of ISO 222. So this is a topic very close to me because I'm a coordinator across the bank. We are in the process still, and I see from my perspective that now there is some kind of challenge. But if we consider that we aggregate all full information across the Europe in the same frame, it brings additional chance to have a new solution, faster, better, and earn something. So for me, from my perspective, it is good that we are getting together, day by day in every entity. So for my side, it's okay.
Piotr, maybe just one more question to that point. So of course, we see the point that you have to provide the best services that your customers demanding, and especially for big institutions, you have to draw somewhere the line, because probably your customers would like to have the payments in 1 millisecond, and probably also without any costs. Where do you see, let's say, the line between what we want to give our customers and where we stop it because we have some limitations?
Always depends. Depends on the market, on the people, on the clients, on our competitors. Yes, we are checking everything, and I believe that as some kind of bank sector, we will build some kind of the standard. Yes. Not to crash everything, all infrastructure and others cases, things, but I believe that we will build some kind of standard. Future will bring the standard.
Okay. Thank you. So also talking about the future, let's talk about the next say question, problem, or topic that we will be discussing right now. So we talked about a lot of technologies. So that are already implemented. However, some of the topics that are, let's say, in the top lines right now and most popular is, of course, AI and automation, what we mentioned, that we want to speak with some models, computers, however, so that they do it for us, or so that we have a more human interaction with machines or systems. Of course, there is this aspect of more secure transactions with biometric authentication, so with eyes, which is also quite interesting. Blockchain, I think, still a topic, not that much as like 5 years ago. Probably right now also not that popular because of the crash in the market. However, of course, the technology that is behind it, also quite a driver for technology. And at last, we can also mention here cloud native platform, and just using the cloud technology as an enabler, as a platform which is quite good optimizing those interactions. And my question to you guys now, quite abstract, but do you think there will be some time in the future, I don't know, 10 years, 20, maybe even 100, that we will say, guys, I don't like the technology, let's go back to coins, or let's go back to paper. Do you think this could be possible?
I think yes, and to anybody that's kind of following the news from the cybersecurity part of the banking sector, You've seen several outages in the last couple of weeks, including some of the payment schemes. And these were not maintenance or scheduled stops, right? So there's always bad actors, right, that will try to exploit any vulnerabilities. And as Hussein mentioned here, you know, we're not immune to the world surrounding us, right? So the whole payment world is built on trust. And if you have bad actors that are purposefully, you know, eroding this trust, there are like instances where, you know, they'll try to do it. And then the next natural thing that comes up in people's minds is like, okay, how do we roll back to something that can be trusted, like physical money? But having said this, I consider this like as sort of like an extreme scenario, right? What we're trying to do and what we're working hard towards every day is making sure that the system is stable, secure, and it keeps being this way. And maybe on a positive note, any attack shows vulnerabilities in the systems, in the payment systems, but also shows vulnerabilities of these attackers, right? So what's their strategy? What's their you know, attack vectors? And these are the things that are then being you know, secured against. So I think ultimately, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, and nothing killed payments to date.
I can just add one point maybe. I also agree that it can be possible to back to this scenario because now everything in digitalization and also the controls and the regulations are increasing on them. But for the blockchain technology, of course, I mean, there are so many speculative tools working on the blockchain technology, like coins, so everyone just missing the, let's say, or overlook the technological part on the blockchain technology. But today it's like using for many record-keeping activities. It's becoming more popular because basically it's a crypted script that, you know, keeping all the transactions, right? And people are as of now, seems like unbreakable for the current technology. But if tomorrow, which is very beginning now, the quantum computing will be increased, or we will have excessive processes power to, you know, encrypt this kind of uncryptable things, then this technology will be awake, and then maybe we will back to just paper money to be the most physically secure way. So how the technology improves, of course, make it more digital, but how the other side, you know, the computing power increase and, you know, making vulnerable this technology, let's say crypto technology, then I think it's pose a very big challenge to, you know, either we will very advanced or we will just back to basics because we cannot compete with the fast scale of technological improvement which keep the security over the crypto technology.
Maybe one more comment from my side, answering your question. I think, first of all, why such questions pop up? I think it's because technology progress is really fast right now, and people sometimes might get overwhelmed by this whole modernity. However, on the other hand side, looking at historical events, as an example, electricity, when it was introduced, some people were also suspicious about that. Some people were thinking that maybe we shouldn't use that any longer. Right now, it's something totally natural, and no one is seriously thinking about rolling it back. And I think it will be the same with digital payments in the future. People that will be raised using digital payments from the very beginning, it will be something totally natural and obvious for them.
I also wanted to add one thing. So looking again historically, but a little bit to the back, so couple of thousands of years. So some time ago, money actually meant something. So when you were paying for something, you were paying, for example, with gold, which was worth as a gold, as a resource. But then we moved to actual cash, and then we moved to digital money. So now when you look at your bank account and you can see 100 zloty or whatever, it is just numbers. And you go to the shop, you don't really feel that you're spending the money because this is just numbers. And obviously we progress because we will be more digitized. We'll be exploring new technologies, paying with your eyes, fingers, whatever. So this will become a new standard, but I believe there will still be a group of people that will be very hesitant and that will need to actually own the money. Of course, this group will be becoming smaller and smaller because they are probably old, but there will be a group like this. And even young people, a part of them at least, will try to switch to another. But I think this will be less and less throughout the times.
From the bank perspective, I don't want to share the statement official, but from my private side, I fully agree that blockchain is the future. But from my perspective, and perhaps I believe that perhaps in 100 years, 200 years, we will come back to gold coin.
So the gold standard coming back, yeah? Well, that's more of a discussion for the economic panel and let's say a global strategy. But yes, okay, very good points, very good point. Colleagues, maybe just one more question strictly related to your institutions and your experience. I mean, those are all super new technologies, very fresh on the market, sometimes not maybe 100% tested. What is the approach of your institution of handling innovations or implementing innovations in your normal business life? Do you see it as a, let's say, complementary thing to seek for the newest solutions? Or are you a little bit hesitant, waiting for the, I don't know, let's say, competitors or maybe some testing institutions to incorporate it and then maybe to shadow it?
I can just say, I think from my previous experience when I was working in the bank. So, like many years ago, when I was working in the bank, how the money transfer was happening, there was a piece of paper that the sender write manually by hand the account number of the receiver, the name and the signature. So what was the control behind it is that you check the ID, you check the signature. And we were auditing this, which was very slow process, you can imagine, and try to apply it now to current fast payments, which is not possible. That's why the technology is following have to follow the current fast environment. So, for example, in the regulatory perspective, how it evolved from the standard traditional audit to continuous monitoring or the behavioral analytics. Now there is lots of AI-driven system which is detecting how you spent your time on your phone, how you are writing something, how you are fulfilling a application, how you are going to a payment directly, how much time you spent in the application, and then create a pattern which can detect the fraudulent activity, because they suppose that a robot can just fulfill something fast and then, you know, make a maximum limit transfer which can be detectable. So the traditional audits is going to an AI-driven regulation. So institutions, as of now, are trying to embed this kind of technological aspects to protect their environment rather than the traditional methods. So this is, for example, now the banks or even the normal manufacturing companies are driven to, rather than standard manual operations, to more automatic AI-driven solutions to you know, audit or control this kind of. So this is like just a regulatory perspective, institutional evolving that I can observe.
So I will add on the AI part because I like AI. I use ChatGPT all the time. But in general, we have a lot of companies in the market. We have traditional banks, and now AI is a very hot topic. So you go to any type of panel, and you'll be hearing about AI, about automation. And I think there is no way to avoid this to a point, because you need to progress. And as you said, one part is evolving the company through AI. So, for example, personal assistant. You go to your bank, you say, I want to buy this, it buys it for you. This is one thing. But I think the additional thing that we actually need to care for is to know how to implement AI to avoid AI risks, because once we are implementing, for example, a fraud detection system, there are also systems made by AI that are attacking your account. So if we don't engage with AI, we'll be AI vulnerable. So I think it's a big part with every type of innovation that you need to be at least aware of the risk that it brings and introduce solutions that will prevent these risks.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, maybe a short comment from my side. So as an advisor to financial institutions, I would like to raise 2 points speaking about technology. So first thing is that you should always focus on problem first. Look what's the problem and try to figure out what's the solution. Do not start from the technology and find as many possible use cases as possible. I've experienced that with blockchain some years ago. There was some sort of a belief that it can be a magic solution to everything, and people had this technology and they tried to apply it everywhere. I think it's not the right approach. You should first identify the problem and then select out of different technological solutions to resolve it. This is the first thing. And second thing, as a financial institution, you should ensure the coherence of your technology backbone. So avoid temptation to try all different possible solutions. Of course, it's good to test them in sandboxes, see what are the outcomes, and decide if it will be beneficial to you. But keep the coherence. So which databases you use, which op system, which other IT solutions. You should have clear technological guidance and clear strategy. What is the direction of your IT landscape?
And back to your original point, at least at MasterCard is innovate or die. So there's multiple layers to it, right? On one hand, we leverage the global scale. So we invest in things that we want to provide to our customers worldwide, like anti-fraud, like this agentic pay, like all kinds of things that work in the background that you don't want to know that work, but that work, right? So this is, and they are secure. So this is one hand. On the other hand, we have this entire ecosystem of startups around us, right? So we do have like a start path, which is a program for startups where we introduce them to our customers and we try to make connections. We invest heavily in innovation hubs and advisory hubs. Like again, just 2 weeks ago, we announced like building 2 new advisory services centers in Gdańsk and Warszawa, 400 people strong, that are going to be serving our customers, oftentimes on the topics of innovation. And last but not least, if we see a startup which does something we really like and we like them a lot, then we buy them too, right? And we do this like pretty continuously every year. There's like several large acquisitions. So this is how we innovate.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot. Would you like to add? Yeah.
Yes, one thing I will try to summarize, because we as a bank, we think AI is the future. It's okay. We would like to automate everything. We analyze each topic, as also Adam mentioned, but in the end, as I started, now I will finish, we would like to deliver the value solution for our client and minimize the risk. This is the most important for us.
Thanks. Then let's go back to a point which we skipped as the discussion was going on. So a last point of discussion for today, strategies for building and integrating bank as a service and open banking ecosystem. So it's, I think, connected with what we discussed in the first discussion topic. So how to integrate also with topics. We now have those 2 options of cooperating. So just one reminder, what is open banking? Basically, this is just a option to enable and share data of accounts, payments to other third parties. So banks can cooperate, exchange data to provide better user experience, to provide better services or connected product payments, or just let's say investing products. And there is, of course, banking as a service. So basically you can ask a bank, guys, can you maybe provide us some services to allow our customers to do some transfers, to open some accounts, and etc. So basically you can operate with services from a bank without being a bank, without being regulated, and without having all those required things that a bank needs to be, and this is not that easy. So my question, and as a follow-up to the first topic, where do you see this development, first of all, of open banking in the future? Is it a really important topic, so that I see in my, let's say, Bank A app, what I have in my other banks? Do really customers expect to have, let's say, a global vision of Ordel finances, or is it just a, let's say, side topic right now?
From a perspective of a company that has this introduced, so you can link your bank accounts to Revolut and see all the things in one app. It's cool. I'm not sure if that's the future, to be honest. I mean, it's fine, you can see the accounts, but I would not say that this is as popular and as hot as we expected it to be at some point. So when we introduced this, I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago, it was very big. But now having a lot of different solutions coming to the market, having Blick, which can integrate all of the accounts, I don't think this is a future, to be honest.
Yeah, this is exactly my question. I was wondering if this is really working. From my perspective, I actually declined all of these options in my banks because I want to have this bank for, let's say, my mortgage, this bank only for international travels or, let's say, exchanging, and so on and so on. Actually, I'm not interested in having those connected. So actually, what's the driver behind this?
I can just add that I think at the point where we were introducing this was visibility. This was also a speed of transfer because you can see exactly what you're transferring where. And it could work potentially. I can imagine use cases for this, not in my personal life, but maybe someone can use it. But I think it was better on a paper than it was in a real life when it comes to actual using of the system.
Also, one thing that is important, when we, in the beginning of the panel, we discussed about the cooperation between fintech, banks, and all these integrated systems, right? And open banking is a bit backbone of it, because without consent of the data travel through the applications, different constitution, it's not possible to make this integration between the applications. So today, if you don't, if today banks not forced to share their data by the regulations, then we wouldn't see that much different application, you know, rely to each other from like banking and the fintech perspective. So this is the backbone, the sharing of the information, because then when the bank can share the traditional data via open banking, then fintechs can focus on the technology and the customer experience to, you know, make it better, but they need this data to work on this. So open banking is the backbone. It's not by itself a thing that can be a future or something, but this is the backbone of all these integrations that you are seeing and experiencing today.
Yeah, I think this is also a very good and important point to mention, just maybe the exchange of data, what is the most interesting and important here, yeah, that today without data you cannot provide any good service, yeah? You have to analyze if something is working well, if the customers are happy, if the service is providing the service as projected, yeah? So maybe this is more a topic of exchange of data and user experience. What do you think?
So I wanted to comment in general about open banking concept and this data sharing aspect. And we as a consultants, we also expected that it would get much higher traction, that it would be much more adapted. So far, results are limited. However, maybe the thing is that so far there was not a really good case for that. Maybe with improved data sharing, with new services, new options for customers, when the clients will see the real value, then maybe they will be more willing to start sharing data, and let's see how the future develops.
So, Adam, I totally agree with you, because we have the open banking option, but from my perspective, I don't believe in this some kind of frame solution that we have now. Perhaps another case and bring some kind of another solution.
Okay then, perfect. I think looking at the time, we have 5 more minutes until, let's say, end of our panel discussion. Maybe there are some questions from the audience. Maybe you would like to get some more information on a specific topic, on a specific institution, or maybe some personal aspects of the panelists here. If not, then I think first of all we'd like to.
Sorry, I just wanted to say that we have questions, and yeah, I have it here on my phone because they asked during the some forms, and Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, our first panel has concluded. We now move to the question and answer session. So first question is to Zuzanna Adamishin. Which of the rising fintechs has the biggest potential?
Hard question. I cannot say anything from the competitors. Let's see. I'm not sure if we can consider. I think we can consider it as a fintech blick, which is a huge thing that we in Poland can not maybe realize at some point, because as I said before, Poland as a market is very advanced, and BLIK is something we got used to. But for example, if you go to the UK, their banking system is sending money from one bank to another, and it takes 3 days. So as they expand, we already said that they are expanding, and if they come to different markets, this will be a huge change in European-wise finance. So I would say BLIK, and we partnered with them, by the way. So that's why I mentioned as well.
Okay, another questions are to all of you. So the first one is, where do you see the biggest opportunities for generative AI in retail and corporate banking?
I can just add company perspective that most of the things we discuss is like the person-to-person payments that we focus on. But the biggest opportunity is also relying on to business or business-to-person payments. Because today, if you send the money for your friend for a night out, then it doesn't mean any other regulative documents that you need to collect or do something. But today, as a company, if you want to pay a freelancer or another business because of their services, then there are so many regulative documentation works behind. There is a text document. There is the informations, like the reports that they need to prepare for this specific transactions. There is the insurance behind it. So fintechs with the potential that now they are automatizing this kind of payments, which is, in my opinion, is the biggest improvement, will impact not maybe your life, my life exactly, but the companies, which will in the end reflect us as a less cost during our transaction, because it will reduce their cost when they are making payment. With these automated systems, it will be so smooth, so fast, less cost, so it will really help you to also, let's say, feel it in your pocket. And for me, it's the business to business and business to person are, let's say, more open to development and can leverage this technology more.
Thank you so much. And the last question is...
Sorry, can I just pick up on this corporate banking trend? So thank you to whoever asked this question. This is much closer to my heart because we work in this space right now with clients here in Poland. And I think one of the things that you might not, like in corporate banking, relationship managers, right, so the corporate bankers, like when they approach their customers, which are big companies by themselves, there's typically tons of sources of data that they need to draw from to build a picture of this particular customer, of their market competitive environment, of their positions in the banks with different products, and ultimately their needs and things that the bank can offer to them, right? So this is exactly the environment where you could imagine Gen AI thrives, right? It can speed up this entire process and create better service, faster decisions, like really, 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 like it's happening now. So it's definitely, I'm bullish on Gen AI and corporate banking.
Thank you. And the last question is, what technological investments should banks prioritize in the next 3-5 years to remain competitive and secure?
So I think that now we are changing our payment platform. So this is the first step. We also build some kind of customers 360. It is about imagination about our client. And to the end, we collect all data from payments, from clients' behaviors, from our retail and corporate side. And after that, we use AI to build something new. Yes, so I don't want to share now what we are checking, but we are doing now. So 2 investments is in the end almost, and we are starting the last stage. So we will see.
Thank you for the answer. We extend our sincere thanks to the panelists for the discussion. And now we invite you all to take a quick coffee break in a sports pavilion lobby where the company town is located. This will be an opportunity for networking, exchange of experiences, and participation in additional activities such as mock interviews and business speed dating.
And following the break at 11:30, we invite you to attend the next panel, Marketing in Age of AI, from Authenticity to Effectiveness in Brown Buildings. Thank you and see you soon.